Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're going to take a closer look at the Villains Challenge The Dark Heart that is coming in November. I am trying something new to see how I can really help you guys out to prepare for next month's missions. And in this video, I'm going to break down every single mission that is going to come up for the next month. So for this Villains Challenge The Dark Heart, there are going to be multiple doors that will pop up. There's actually going to be a total of 5 different color doors that will show up, and if you could clear the first 3 color doors, you will be able to get the silver pin. So the first 3 doors is going to be the purple door, the green door, and the light purple door. But first, let's take a look at the purple door. For the purple door, there are 13 missions, and these 13 missions are relatively easy. Even if you literally just started playing the game today, you're going to be able to complete the purple door, and that's by design. The game makers didn't want to make the first missions too difficult because for newcomers, they want to make sure that you at least feel included in some of these missions. So if you are brand new to the game, welcome. You are going to be able to get through the first door, which is the purple door. There are 13 missions, and none of these, as you can see, are difficult at all. You may need to put some time into getting lucky. For example, clearing 1 large tsum in 1 play. You may need to just get lucky with that. But everything else is really simple. I mean, there is another one, burst 10 magical bubbles or bombs using a happiness tsum, but you start off the game with a happiness tsum, so you really need to just get those magic bubbles and pop them, and it doesn't say that you need to do it in 1 play, so as long as you get 10 over a period of however many games, you're gonna be fine there. Alright, so next we have the green door, and for the green door, it is a little bit lengthier. So compared to the purple door, the green door does have 20 missions. I guess there are some challenging ones if you are relatively new to the game, but for you who have been playing for a while, you're going to be okay for the green door. But let's say if you just started playing a couple of weeks ago or maybe a month ago, or don't play too often, then maybe you might run into some issues. There is one, for example, like trace an 8 chain or greater. That part's not hard at all, but the part that's difficult is you have to use a tsum with a white hand. So that will rule you out if you don't have a tsum with a white hand. So hopefully you have a tsum with a white hand, but generally not all, but there are a lot of tsums out there that has a white hand. All you have to do is just check the tsum character selection screen and see if they have a white hand or not. And typically a lot of them do have it. And then the next one that might be a little bit challenging is earn 400 XP using a burst skill tsum in total. Again, maybe difficult for new joiners that just started the game maybe a couple of days ago, but even 400 XP is not that hard. So those are really the only 2 challenging ones. So even if you're a beginner, you should be able to get through the green door if you have been playing for at least a week. Alright, so now let's move on to the next door, which is the light purple door. Now, if you're able to complete this light purple door, you will end up with the silver pin. And with this silver pin, you will also get a prize with that. The silver pin doesn't do anything, or actually all the pins don't really do anything, but you could display them almost kind of like a trophy to really just say, hey, I did the missions. In this light purple door, there are 22 missions, so they do have a little bit more compared to the other doors. There are some challenging ones that I want to call out. For example, get a 50 combo using a tsum with a black nose in 1 play. This is a little bit difficult because it is 1 play and you have to have a tsum with a black nose. So if you are playing this game without a large amount of tsums, then yeah, maybe it might get a little difficult. But I think Mickey might actually have a black nose. I'm not sure, I have to double check that. But yeah, just check the screen to see if they have a black nose or not. You might have to scroll around to see. But the next difficult one will be burst 10 magical bubbles in 1 play. And again, this is quote-unquote difficult if you are relatively new to the game. If you've been playing for a while, you should definitely get to the blue door and also the final door without any problems. But if you just started playing, you may find this one a little bit more challenging, but still definitely doable for beginners. Popping 10 magic bubbles in 1 play is definitely doable. Essentially, you just need a couple of big tsums, which will automatically give you a magic bubble, and then just make a couple of long chains. Make like 8 or 9 long chains, and you'll get the magic bubble. So with some strategizing, this wouldn't be too difficult. And then the next more difficult one will be use your skill 30 times using a villain tsum in total. So you will need a villain tsum, so that's why it's a little bit challenging. So if you don't have a villain tsum, unfortunately this is probably where you're going to stop. But some of the good villain tsums that you could use is pretty much any of the new tsums from this month. Also Angry Hades, any of the Magnificents, Oogie Boogie, Cobra Jafar, Dr. Hamsterville, which is coming out for this selection box, Gaston, Hades, Angry Hades, Lotso, Leroy, Gadget, Lotso, and Lotso Charm. All of these are very good tsums to complete this mission, so hopefully you have one of those. If not, unfortunately, this is where you stop. And then maybe the burst 2 time bubbles, you will need to get lucky with that, but yeah, not too difficult. I could walk you through that if that is something that you do get stuck with. And then next we have the blue door, which has a total of 18 missions, so a little bit less than the other ones, but this is where it gets a little bit more challenging. After you get the silver pin, some of these missions are going to get a little bit more difficult, and that's by design because the game wants you to invest more in your tsums and level up these tsums. So some of the ones I do want to call out is burst 11 magic bubbles using a tsum with a round ear in one play. But some of my recommendation for this particular mission is use any masquerade tsum from last month, Moana, Bat Hat Mini, Brave Mickey. So these are all really good tsums to make magic bubbles, and they also have a round ear. And keep in mind you have to do it in one play. It's not too difficult, it's really about having a round ear tsum and then making those magic bubbles. And then next we have get a 95 combo in one play. I would say like Patch is a really good one for this. I always use Patch for any combo tsums. If you play fast, that's okay. You're going to get through 95 without a problem. And then also there's a Trace a 25 chain or greater. This one is also not too difficult if you use the 5-4. But some of my recommendation for the long chain tsums missions, use any charm tsums because essentially you only have 3 different versions of tsums on the screen. But what you can do if you don't have a charm tsum and you also don't want to use the 5-4, what you should do is focus on one particular tsum and then clear everything else. So let's say if your tsum is a Mickey tsum, then clear everything but the Mickey, so that way you just keep getting Mickeys on the screen, and when time starts to run down, then connect the longest chain as possible, and hopefully at that point you will get 28 or more. Alright, and then finally we have the red door, which has 22 missions, and if you're able to complete the red door, you will get the platinum pin. Again, the platinum pins don't really do anything, but it just demonstrates that you are a skilled player and could get through these missions. You'll eventually get there. It took me about 3 to 4 months before I could really tackle my first platinum pin mission. And really, when you do get the platinum pin, you will feel very accomplished. So hopefully you're there. And let's take a look at these missions, these 22 missions. There is one that I do want to call out. Use your skill 11 times in one play. I recommend Owl. Owl essentially is the best tsum for this, but any tsums that has a low charge up time will do. I always use Owl for these. It's just because, you know, he has a really low charge up time. Owl has the lowest charge up time in the entire game, so Owl is really good. And then another one I do want to call out is Enter Fever 8 times in one play. This is not too difficult, but some of my recommendation is use any of the Star Fever tsums. So any of the Masquerade tsums we had from last month. Before last month, I always used Parade Mickey. And if you're relatively newer to the game, you might have Lumineer. And then also Parade Tinkerbell is another good one. So even if you're brand new to the game, I think Lumineer is one of the earlier tsums that you get in this game. Some of the other ones that are a little bit more challenging is get a 160 combo in one play. And then clear 240 girl tsum in one play, because you have to have a girl tsum first of all, and then you have to clear a lot of tsums in one game. Next one would be like burst 5 star bubble in one play. This one's not too difficult if you have a tsum that makes magic bubble, so that's another hard one. And then also trace a 42 chain or greater. So a lot of people are likely going to get stuck here with this 42 chain because the entire screen only has 45 tsums at one time. So you definitely will need a specialty tsum to get you through this mission. And for this one, I do recommend either using Boo, Gaston, Elsa and Bruni, Jetpack Alien, Sully, Elsa, Eeyore. Those are all good options. I mix around between Jetpack Alien and also using Boo, but my go-to is usually Elsa because of the ice mission. So check out my video for Elsa if you want to learn a little bit more about how I use Elsa to make really long chains. And then the next hardest one is the earn 8 million points in one play. And this is the part where if you don't get through the 42 chains, a lot of people are also going to get stuck at this 8 million points in one play as well. So essentially my recommendation is see who is your strongest tsum that earns you the most coin. Typically the one that earns you the most coin will also give you the most points as well. And also keep in mind that if you are using a tsum from this month, the missions are easier. And then sometimes if you're really close but not quite there, you may want to use a couple of rubies just to get you through it. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend you to use your real money to buy rubies So if you have some rubies laying around, then I think it's worth it. I think the end result, I think you get a premium ticket or something. I don't really know for this month what the end price is. If it's a skill ticket, then I think it's worth it. But if it's just a premium ticket, then I don't necessarily think it's worth the rubies. But that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know in the comments below if there's any missions that you need help with. I will give you some recommendations on which tsums to try. And if you see any comments below where some of our other tsum players are getting stuck, feel free to reply back and let them know what you are using to get through these missions. And I hope that you guys found this video helpful. This is something that I'm just trying new. Let me know if you like videos like these. I'll try to continue to do them as long as the events make sense for me to make these videos. There are some events that doesn't make sense and they're not structured like this, but as long as they're structured like this, I could do these videos to help you guys out. So yeah, let me know in the comments below which ones you need help with, and also if these videos are going to be helpful. So I'll consider doing them going forward. And also, if you would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to scroll down and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.